You probably replayed the intro or paused for a second wondering if this was the right video, or if you should have kept scrolling. And now you're aware that you're thinking about it. Yeah, this is for you. People often say overthinkers just worry too much, like it's some small habit, something harmless. But that idea barely scratches the surface. What's actually happening in the mind is far more complex. And once you understand it, it starts to feel less like a flaw and more like something that finally makes sense. There's a system in your brain called the default mode network. It activates when you're not focused on the outside world, when you're reflecting, imagining the future, replaying the past, or analyzing social situations. For overthinkers, this system doesn't just switch on. It stays active, loud, and constant. But the real question isn't just what is happening. It's why it doesn't stop. Because your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's actually trying to do something useful. There's a difference between healthy reflection and what psychologists call rumination. Reflection moves you toward understanding or solutions. Rumination keeps you stuck, replaying the same thoughts over and over without progress. You're not solving anything. You're just revisiting the problem in different forms. Research shows this kind of thinking doesn't just feel draining. It intensifies negative emotions and can increase the risk of depression over time. Instead of processing feelings, it traps them. And the frustrating part? For many people, this pattern started early. Not necessarily from anything extreme, but from environments where being alert mattered, where reading people correctly or anticipating reactions helped you stay safe or avoid problems. Over time, your brain learned that thinking ahead was useful. The problem is, you're still doing it everywhere, even when it's not needed. A simple conversation, a message, or a small social moment can turn into something your brain dissects endlessly. And your body reacts as if it's real pressure, because to your system, it feels like it is. There's also a very specific type of overthinking that centers on other people, how they see you, what they think of you, whether you said the wrong thing. You replay conversations, analyze reactions, and try to predict every possible interpretation. That's not just anxiety, it's also empathy, just without limits. Take something simple, like canceling plans. Most people type a quick message and send it, but an overthinker rewrites it multiple times, adjusting tone, questioning every word, wondering how it might be received. After all that, they often send something very close to the original message anyway, then immediately reread it, worrying if it sounded right. What makes this harder is that overthinkers often show others far more understanding than they give themselves. You can reassure someone else for hours, yet still lie awake criticizing yourself for the smallest thing. There's also something else happening. When you try to force a thought away, it often comes back stronger. This was demonstrated in a well-known experiment where people were told not to think about something, and it only made the thought more persistent. So every time you tell yourself to just stop thinking, you may actually be making it worse. Interestingly, overthinking isn't random. It tends to focus on what matters most: relationships, decisions, identity, and anything tied to your values. It's not noise, it's misplaced importance. Your mind is highlighting what you care about, just in an overwhelming way. Rest can also feel complicated. When everything is quiet, there's nothing to distract you, so all those thoughts surface at once. That's why staying busy can feel easier. It keeps the noise down, even temporarily. Understanding all this doesn't immediately stop the cycle, and it's not supposed to. The goal isn't to eliminate thinking entirely. It's to understand it better. Instead of asking, "How do I stop this?" a better question is, "What is this thought trying to protect me from? And does that threat still exist?" Often, it doesn't. What remains is simply a habit your mind has practiced for years. You may never have a completely quiet mind, and that's okay. The real progress is learning to recognize what's happening and deciding how much attention to give it. To notice the spiral and say, "I understand why you're here, but you don't get to take over everything." That shift alone makes a bigger difference than you might expect.